Well, I would like to begin, though, just kind of reflecting a little bit upon upon Leviticus. And Leviticus chapter 21 through 22 is an interesting set of laws that has to do with the code book for the Kohanim, for the priests. And I think that there's some interesting insights that we can take from that. I remember when I first starting attending Beth Yeshua back in 2006, back in ancient times, but a long time ago. But I remember I was kind of getting, really excited about everything. And I remember this gentleman, I won't name him, he doesn't attend here anymore, but he came up to me and said, this was around this time of year, and he said, Philip, I've got this, I'm growing some cantaloupe at home, and I really, I want to, come and bring the cantaloupe, and I want to set it on fire and say a blessing over it. And I said, why do you want to do that? And he said, well, we say that we are Torah observant. We need to be keeping the Torah. I mean, we're supposed to present these fruits to the Lord. So I'll let you think about that. We had another woman, won't name her, but a woman that used to attend here, and of course we have the women come up and read from the Torah, right? And of course I had reflected upon the idea that, it's like, well, we have women read from the Brit Chadashah, but I don't have an issue with a woman reading from the Torah itself. And she makes the case. She says, well, are you going to, we say that we keep Torah, but you're going to pick and choose? Should women come up here when they're in their state of nida? Now, granted, she didn't have a problem coming up to the bema with the Torah spread open and reading from the New Testament, but she thought that it was somehow a violation for a woman to come and read from the Torah. And so what's the difference? What is my point here? Okay, so yeah, Yeshua said he didn't come to abolish the Torah, do away with it, but that all of it would keep going, right? But there's something that we learn from the laws of the priesthood. There are laws that you read about in Leviticus chapter 21 and 22 that, guess what? They don't apply to you. And there are laws in many of these, and I think that many people that come into the Messianic Jewish movement really struggle with this, that they read the Torah and they kind of take it as this all-encompassing text that is, that we need to be doing all of this, right? And oftentimes they take it out of its context and they misapply and misunderstand the Torah. In fact, they would argue, well, Philip, you're abolishing the Torah. You're advocating lawlessness. But I would say, no, if you're applying it the wrong way, that's lawlessness. And so, yes, there's one Torah. And yes, Yeshua didn't come to abolish the Torah, but we need to make sure that we understand the Torah on its own terms. What does the Torah actually say about that issue? And I think that that's something that we need to ask the question. That's important because that's all very foundational to think about those questions, particularly as you go through the book of Acts and as we follow through in the book of Acts. We're in Acts chapter 13. We've been going through. And, if we think about, I don't know if there was a title for the sermon series we've been going through this year, On Mission. And I think it's important in a Messianic Jewish context to ask the question, we say that we want to, in fact, it's funny, I was talking to a woman who is Greek Orthodox, and she had a Baptist background, and we talked about her journey into Greek Orthodoxy. Of course, I have a Baptist background myself, my journey into Messianic Judaism. And there's been a rise of people coming into Orthodoxy and Christian Orthodoxy, Eastern Orthodoxy here in Texas, and in the same way in the Messianic Jewish movement. And what is it? Oftentimes there's the same heart behind what drives people to this, right? Because people want to get into what? Apostolic, right? Something that they want to make sure that what was it like? What was the early church like? What were they doing? And what was the big point of emphasis? So I think it's important. We have to be careful as a restorative movement, because there are other groups that are restorative movements, right? Or they claim to be restorative movements.